It's been a while, but I asked you a question. Are you growing or are you staying the same? Because this is not when it's all said and done, you don't want to be remembered as somebody who's settled. Nobody wants to settle for the person that they married, and if that's you, shh. Nobody wants to settle for the careers that they had. Nobody wants to settle for the grades that they earn. Nobody wants to settle for who they were when it's all said and done. But if you aren't growing, you're settling. And for some of you in this room right now, you're settling for a life where you have to carry the sin and the weight and the shame and the burdens that you've had your entire life. You keep on hearing us say, nothing matters more to God than people, but if you don't have a relationship with Jesus, what I need you to hear is that nothing matters more to God than you. You've heard the story of Jesus and he died on the cross, but if you were the only person to have ever existed, he would have got up on that cross still for you. Because you weren't meant to carry the sin and the shame and the burdens and the scars that you try so hard to hide. Because the hard truth is that you might think you're going to heaven, but without Jesus, you're not. And so if you've been presented with a hard truth and you don't like the outcome of the truth, what are you going to do to change? What if today you had a conversation with me after service or somebody else on staff here at the Mount Sterling location about having an intimate and personal relationship with Jesus? What if next week you got baptized? What if your life was forever different because you made a change that moved you in a direction where you had an intimate and personal relationship with Jesus? For others of you in this room, you would say that you're a Christian. The census is coming up in 2 years, and you're going to mark that you're a Christian, but actually you live in small town America where everyone's a Christian. And when he talked about the fig tree, you thought, oh, that's me. I look the part, I play the part, I even serve here. But if you were to ask me if I actually had an intimate and personal relationship with Jesus, there needs to be a change. And before you can ever make that change, you have to face the hard truth that you don't have the thing that you think you've had the whole time. And if that's you, what if you came to the steps and you said, God, I'm ready to give it to you. I'm ready to stop playing the part, but actually pursue you with everything that I have and everything that I am. And then there's others of us in this room who we have an intimate personal relationship with Jesus, but if your story is anything like mine, it goes through seasons where you're all about it, and then it dies down and it settles. Guys, you roared when he talked about men's conference, but how many of you have already stopped moving on the changes that you said you were going to make? Because I bet your wife and your kids are worth 30 minutes in the morning in God's word to be the man that God called you to be. Wives, I bet your family's worth 30 minutes. But 30 minutes more sleep totally made a difference on the entire day. You keep on settling and settling and settling, and I keep on settling. I'm coming up on 2 days. It's my 1-year anniversary. And the man that I wanted to be, I've already dropped the ball multiple times in multiple ways. But I have to decide, am I going to settle? But if I'm willing to face the difficult truth that comes from measuring, am I able to identify the changes that need to be made? Am I willing to move? Because if you came to church today because you wanted to sit in a chair and then leave and go get lunch with your family, but not come any closer to having a relationship with Jesus, I don't know why you came here today. But up here at the steps, we don't have the steps because we want cool photos of people on their knees praying, and we don't have the steps because it's super flattering to be bent over in that position. We have the steps because we want to publicly declare that I came here because I want to make a change. So did you come here because you wanted to make a change? Because when he's talking about all those thorns, all those things in your life that are getting in the way of you becoming more like God, having a better relationship with Jesus, you know what they are, but are you going to settle for them to be thorns in your side? Or are you going to make the change? Or are you going to move? Or are you going to be the kind of Christ followers that face the truth? Because there are people that aren't here today that need Jesus. And Jesus wants to do work through you, but those thorns and those things are the very barriers that are getting in the way of the work he wants to do with you. So that way you don't have a life that settles. Church, would you stand? God called you to a life that matters. He called you out of the sin and the shame. And I want to ask you if you're willing to make the change to be the people that this community needs. Would you pray with me? Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for your Son who died on the cross for us. Thank you so much for taking the sin and the shame and the burdens and the scars away from us, because we are a new creation. And I pray that if your Spirit's moving in people right now who don't have a relationship with you, I pray that they have a conversation. I pray that we're willing to face the difficult truths so that we can make the kind of change that brings us closer to you. It's in your Son's name I pray.